Okay, we got one more. Who could it be? I don't know. Maybe we just stop there. Leonardo? You're correct. You're correct, my friend. And your t-shirt's amazing. Guys, you gotta start. Can you scream and shout? Yeah? For Leonardo? Yes! It's Ken Clark! Let's go! You got it. Love it. Keep it going, you guys. Go Whips. Cheers. Thank you. Thank you. All right, let's sit down. We've each got a mic this time. This is for you. And you might have to turn it on, so just make sure you switch on. Now, before we start, we've got a surprise for all of you guys. We've got a surprise. We're going to get Marshall and David to bring it out to you.
Is it anchovy and hot fudge?
Well, not quite, I'm sorry. But here we go, you guys, look what we've
Wow!
It is anchovy and hot fudge!
Is that real pizza? Shut the front door.
Why, that slice is berry-sized.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys. Wow. That's pretty cool.
Do you guys do room service?
Yeah.
Thank you. Wow. Marshall, everybody. So thank you very much to, I'm going to do this in my best sponsor voice. Thank you very much to Benny's Pizza in downtown Roanoke. Benny's. Thank you very much.
That's our
you guys.
friend Claire today.
Thank you very much. You guys are beautiful. You guys are
I love your shirt.
Oh yes,
Get a load
thank
of this,
you.
that's me, y'all.
Yeah.
That's me.
He's Waldo.
In the UK, we say Wally. It's where's Wally? Yeah, where's Wally? I'm still not quite used to saying Waldo. Waldo, yo. Okay, you guys. Big Lick. It's your second time at a Big Lick event. Be having a nice time.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Everybody is so...
The best part of it was that I actually got here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, me too. Last couple of weeks ago, Cam and I, we got sort of locked out of a con going to South Carolina. Got stranded. He was stranded in Dallas.
I was stranded on a 5 a.m. plane in Dallas that never took off.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I found out that my connection in Washington, D.C., at the same airport, by the way, was canceled, and there were no other flights to South Carolina all weekend, so I ended up just getting back home the next morning.
Well, I'm very glad that you're all here. And you're
So
all here.
Townie and I stopped at LAX in Los Angeles and just signed autographs there around the carousel for the luggage.
Yeah.
We got in the carousel.
And Rob and I did the panel alone,
That's
which
right.
was
We did.
And that was our weekend.
Yep.
I gotta tell
half
you,
a loaf.
Barry,
Definitely half a loaf.
Barry, where was it where it was just you and me on the panel and we were panicking that no one was going to show up, that it was because it was just us? Do you remember that?
I don't remember where. I remember when. I remember it happened.
Yeah, we were in the car going, if it isn't the four of us, nobody's going to show up, nobody's going to be there. And we had a nice time.
They were
We had a
right.
nice time.
There was actually more people than when we were all
Yeah.
together.
I don't blame you.
So, I'm going to ask you this question, but I think I'd say all of you maybe are kind of like, because I love doing, the last panel we did together was so fun. You're all so chatty, and so I was going to ask one question.
Thank you.
It was the easiest panel I've ever done. I just sat back like, this is great, oh my god.
We all consider ourselves to be pretty easy.
Yeah, you're...
Renee especially.
No, I was going to say you.
Which is why we all
written
love
on
her.
the men's room, bathroom wall.
Yeah.
So who's the chattiest on the panel? Who would you all consider the biggest chatterbox on the panel?
I don't know. Maybe, but Cam
Yeah,
too.
right. I'm the kind of guy that says haggis. They hardly know us. I'm sorry.
I'm just so
Young ladies from
shy.
Scotland. So.
Cam is the most choreographed,
Yes.
though.
Townsend is the most
You don't
popular.
know what he's going to do with his body
Michelangelo
during
is the
this.
most popular turtle.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, he should be.
Yeah.
Barry is the smartest of us in real life by far.
Okay.
And then Renee is just everything that everybody wants to be because she's
Right.
beautiful and smart and kind and talented. And
I am the
Bill-
youngest.
And I
I'm the
paid you.
youngest as well,
I'll,
so
I'll,
there's
I'll be
that.
sending
Yeah.
you that check next week.
Renee has every nice word I can think of.
that's
Yes.
right.
And today is her birthday, by the way.
Should we sing happy birthday?
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Renee. Happy birthday to you.
What is your birthday wish, Renee?
My birthday wish is for world peace.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, well, maybe you should set the bar a little lower.
yeah.
To get home in one piece.
There we go.
There we go. We got it. We got it. Okay, let's ask some turtley-based questions, and then we'll get to the fans because we want to hear from the fans. Was there a point? I'm just wondering because the turtles were so bloody huge back in the day. I had all of the Donatello stuff because I was a Donatello fan.
I'm sorry, you had all the
Who?
Donatello.
Who?
Donatello, the purple guy.
The way she says Donatello.
So she was not the person who walked up to me and said, honestly, at a con, how does it feel being the least favorite turtle?
No.
That's
What was
right
your
up there.
You said I wouldn't know. Ask Cam.
That's right up there with. But apart from that, how'd you like to play, Mrs. Lincoln? That's exactly where that falls.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Someone asked you that. What did you answer?
I said I didn't realize that.
Oh,
I didn't know, but thank you for telling me.
good.
They saved the best for last.
Like that backhanded comment. Okay, so
But thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I wanted to ask about the responsibility or how you felt when you realised, right, this is bloody huge, worldwide. You know, for younger actors, you know, it's not like you go into acting going, I want to be in a super, super famous show. You just want to work,
Yeah.
right?
Amen.
So how did you feel when that...
I don't think we knew.
Yeah, really?
I don't think we knew
No.
at all while we were doing the show. I mean, we knew we were doing it for 10 seasons, so we knew it was a hit. But I don't think we knew until we started to do cons.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we had no conception of this at all.
This is his doing. He like had to put a gun to my head
Yeah.
to start doing these, and I went, Rob, who is going to want our autograph?
Yes,
We're
sir.
such old news.
You know, when I did remember that, so my daughter was born on the day that our show went to series. And after a couple of seasons, I realized that had it been our faces and not our voices, we would not have been able to go outside.
No. It really
Every
got to-
kid had, and you probably all are those kids. Ninja Turtle hat, Ninja Turtle shorts, socks, shoes, you name it. Even in Disneyland, nobody
And-
was wearing Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
They were all wearing
Ninja
Ninja
Turtles.
Turtles.
And of course, I learned the hard way. Saw a little, I'm in line for the movies. This was
Oh, this is
1,000
great.
years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. This is great.
And I see this, and it was probably nearish when we first knew we were, you know,
All
kicking
that.
it, all that. So I see a kid in this other line at another movie. He's got, you know, like she said, the hat, the shirt, blah, 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 everything. He's got the little plush turtle with him. And I'm thinking, I'm going to give this kid a thrill. I'm going to tell him who I am. So I walk over, you know, big pedo or something, whatever. I wasn't arrested. And I lean down to the kid, big ice cream. I swear I'm not making this up because it's too corny to not be real. And he's like this. And I said, I see you're a big turtle fan. Yeah. Well, guess what? I'm Leonardo. Oh, yeah? And I'm Donatello.
They're great. Yeah.
So here I am.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll be over here. Don't tell your mom I was leaning into you.
Everybody's a
Enjoy
critic.
that ice cream.
And in the early days, grown-ups who were like when y'all were kids would go, "Hey, come do your voice for them." And so we're the human, and we'd go up and go, "Ah," and the kid would go, "Ah."
Yeah.
So we decided, do you have another phone? we will call. But this doesn't make sense to a little kid. It just is scary.
Yeah, not enough green.
It
Not
was,
enough skin.
when
And now that we're all ready,
the
you
turtle
know,
there
it
now,
really doesn't make sense to kids. They can't figure it
the
out.
turtle there now has big piping around the toilet to help us, get it, like in a, yeah, never mind.
We have an elevator to get out of the sewer now.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
of those chairs.
But I think certainly we started to know that it was a bigger deal than we had anticipated when the holidays started coming around, and we were invited to get together. And in this case, it was
Famous phone friends.
yeah,
right?
but what was the name of the
It was an investment company.
yeah, it was
They
Bear
sponsored
Stearns.
Bear Stearns.
Bear Stearns, which is now gone, but they had a huge office in California, and they would have this lovely lady, Linda Stone,
Yes.
who was a studio teacher. If you're working on a series and you're still going to school, they have teachers that study between breaks and stuff like that. So she put together this wonderful outfit called Famous Phone Friends, and it would be athletes or anybody to call children who were sick. And when we get together to do this at Christmas, we'd be there all afternoon, and we'd say, okay, this is Jonathan, and he's got this going on with his life, his health issues, but he's in London. Or this one is in Sao Paulo. He speaks English. Or this young man is in South Africa.
I had a mom say, my son cannot talk
Yeah.
because of his surgery, but I wish you could see his
Isn't that
face.
something?
And for me, I was kind of starstruck because it was like, Michael Jackson's We Are the
Yeah.
World. Everyone that you have, whatever shows you watched
They were
in
there.
our era, were all there. And I got Bart Simpson sitting across,
Yeah.
Nancy is sitting across, and I'm going, hey, Nancy, I think this is a call for you. And over here is Minnie Mouse, Ruthie
Yeah.
is there, and this one wants Minnie Mouse. So it was surreal and such a joy
Oh, it's
and
huge.
a humbling experience to have everyone there, and they're talking like this, and then they switch into, Tigger,
Right.
or Minnie, or Mickey, or Raphael, whatever. It was a wonderful
Very
experience.
cool. And also we had parents, God bless y'all. But I'd start getting calls, hi honey, it's mom. There's nobody in my life that says, hi honey, it's mom. It has to remind me that it's mom. And she'd say, well, at work I've got the Ninja Turtles. I've got this young lady I work with who just loves it, blah, blah, blah. Could you get the boys to, and it happened all the time. And we'd all get that with, if your parents start to go, yeah, my kid's a turtle. That's a big deal. and the overarching takeaway from these events, though, is present company included. The lovely, all of you sweet, lovely, wonderful folks who come to visit us are not a bunch of 10-year-olds. Chronologically.
Sorry about that.
But they're, honestly, I don't know how many shows continue to perform at this level for 3 generations now. This show is 40 years old. And it is, well, not quite, but the comic book is 40 years, but our show is
I'm 40.
38 years old.
38 years old. And everywhere, Dubai, it doesn't, the UK, it doesn't matter. And
I was in Japan
Yes.
in January, and I had the most amazing experience. We had a guide in Osaka, and his English was perfect, and we end up in the area where they do anime. And so I said, well, I don't know if you know, the Ninja Turtles. And he stopped, and I said, he says, yes, I know the Ninja Turtles. I said, well, I did the voice of April on the original show. And he broke down in tears.
something.
Now, I don't know if you know the Japanese culture, but they don't cry. Men don't cry.
Right.
No emotion. He was like on the floor in a pool of water. He says, you have no idea what you did for me. I went to Japan after high school. I begged my father to take me, to allow me to go to college. And I was adopted by a family in Omaha, Nebraska. And I didn't speak
Is
much
this a Japanese?
English.
Was this a Japanese baby?
He was a Japanese high school student going to college in Oklahoma. And he didn't speak English, but they turned on the TV and he saw ninjas.
We met a
And he
gentleman
learned
today.
English.
Yep.
And there's someone, I don't know if he's here, another fellow who learned
There was a gentleman-
how to
there's
speak
There's
English.
lots of folks from around the world
Yeah.
who say that's where I learned English. Which is American, but then to be fair, American television, you name the show, that's how people learned their
Pretty amazing.
English.
Robbie was just talking about we were in Abu Dhabi
Abu
and
Dhabi.
Dubai, and had a panel like this, and met so many young folks who had perfect English. And I asked one of them once, I said, "Did you grow up here?" "Well, yes." "Well, how did you learn such perfect English?" "From your show."
Isn't that crazy?
And I'm not making this up, one of those guys that we talked to had the slightest Michelangelo going on. Here he is in his robe,
Of course he
you know,
did.
in his thing, and he's going, "Oh yeah, I learned English, you know."
It's
watching the
fantastic.
show."
You have not lived till you've seen about 1,000 lovely young men and women dressed in their regular, Middle Eastern garb, going "Turtle Power, Kawabunga!" It's amazing, and the again, it cannot be said enough. We go home from these events utterly exhausted from saying thank you. No one gets to do that, you guys. And we're in a business that it's like, oh, well, okay, that show's over. You're done. Anything that has this sort of lasting effect, and all it is joyful. That's it. And then we hear stories that are so profoundly personal and powerful. Mr. Coleman, I was in the foster system. I had to go to 5 different homes between 6 months and 18. Can you imagine? But as long as there was a television, ... Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Incredible.
there was a guy at one of the last cons we did toward the end of last year who came up to me, big strapping, guy, and he gave me a gift, and it was a bracelet, but it was a very unique bracelet, and he said, I have to give this to you because you saved my life. And I looked at him, I said, what do you mean I saved your life? And he said, well, it's our tradition, it's a Viking tradition, that when someone saves your life, you give them a gift. And then he proceeded to tell me the story about when he was a kid, that, talk about the foster system, he had bounced around from home to home and got into a lot of trouble. And it was, he said, because of watching Ninja Turtles, that he was able to keep his head screwed on straight and not get into the trouble that he would, or I should say, steer away from the trouble that he was already getting into. And he said, you literally saved my life, because at one point I was on death's door and I made the right choice, and he didn't get into it, but he said, so I need you to have this. And he gave one to each of us, and I just wore that.
And we had the heroin
Yeah, with a guy who
guy.
gentleman who kicked heroin. He came and said, I was in rehab and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? My dad and my mom were not ready to lose me. And my dad said, I'll make you a deal. You go downstairs and you can watch Ninja Turtles or whatever you want. He's a grown-up. But you got to get clean, and then we're going to get you, but we're going to be...
until you're clean, you cannot watch the show. And that was a thing in
Isn't that
his
something?
recovery.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in my parents' basement. God bless my parents. But I've never been a drug addict, but everything I read, and I know a couple, it's a remarkably difficult thing to not do, obviously. But for this guy to kick it, and then all he wants to do is say, I have to tell you this. I'm compelled to tell you this. How on earth do we reconcile that sort of heartfelt compliment? And the truth is that all of you are complicit in the most wonderful way in making us feel that way.
That's the first time
and
I
understand
heard
too
this
that,
story.
that we get the fact that it's not us. I mean,
We don't
we're a-
draw 'em and we don't
we're a-
write 'em.
Yeah, we're a small part of a small cog in this
Yeah.
much bigger machine, But being the voices, that brought these characters to life is such a huge honor for us, and it's never ever lost on
Never.
us when we meet you guys. That if it weren't for you, there would be no us.
Oh, come on.
That's right.
Look, you guys, you can have a script written by Jesus, and $30 million is someone else's money. And if nobody watches, that's it.
Right.
Tax write-off, next show. And we've all done a lot of stuff, and you have this, okay, I feel this one, and crickets. So,
Yeah.
and this is super unique. Even to the extent that I remember, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, I was watching the news, and it was something about the desperate immigrant situation in Syria.
In Syria or
Yeah.
Gaza?
Well, this was earlier.
Oh.
This was Syria. And there was this huge refugee camp, and these 2 little boys, maybe 7 or 8, are playing soccer with a half-inflated ball in dirt. I mean, that's all there is. It's the desert. And they're wearing Ninja Turtle shirts. Now, probably, that may be the only shirt that kid has. And it's precious to him. And to the extent that if that gives him a little turtle power, whatever it is, it is so much bigger than ratings or merchandise or our paychecks. It's a big deal, and it's just about joy. That's
You know,
it.
I had never heard the heroin story before.
Yeah, that's
That's a
something-
brand new one. I never met him
Yeah, he came out and saw us.
because probably I'm the least favorite.
Likely.
See, folks, that's why he's a good actor. Did you see him teeing it up?
So Clara's had one question and kind of deja vu. Do you want to?
Go ahead.
Do you know what though? I have to interview you again in April, so I'm like, do you know what? I'm just gonna save these for April. Like, let's research for me. I know that you guys have got such a great rapport because you do all of these conventions together, you've worked together. But there was a point where you lost touch with each other, is that correct? And then came back together. Was it for Rob's podcast?
I had just gotten out of rehab.
Was that
And
first or was the
Chuck.
Honda first? Which was first?
Well, I think what happened was I started going to cons a few years
Way before us.
Yeah, and I love this. This for all of us. We all pretty much started doing live theater and live performance. So anybody who's an audience is, great. But I started to understand the extent to which these characters connect with people at their souls. I mean, it's a big deal, whether it's Bugs or Daffy or Turtles or whatever. And so I just could not get enough of it. And I said, wait a minute. We're the Ninja freaking Turtles. There's got to be, because I was signing pictures on my own of Turtles. So we all got together for dinner, and it was our buddy Cam.
Rob put this together.
I did, yeah. But all I had to do was say, hey, man, we should try this. Cam, because he's just lovely and absolutely negative. But he was like, and he said that, Robbie, I mean, come on, we don't draw him, we don't write him, it's not, and he's correct. However, and then what was so wonderful was to see all of us together, Renee, and I remember catching your eye when you were besieged by all these beautiful people, and you were tearful.
Like one of my first.
Yeah, you were looking at me like, oh my God. And it's so powerful for us. We get, how often do we say, how did this happen? Did you meet the girl that, oh my God, yeah, did you meet her husband? Oh my God, yeah. Crazy, so.
But it also brought us back
Together, yeah.
Because I hadn't seen these guys in decades. And because I'd retired and, so I wasn't doing the circuit and I wasn't looking for...
Well, you're the least popular turtle.
Least popular turtle. So I hadn't seen them in a very long time. And now it's like, you should see the text strings that are going on. I mean, we're brothers.
Brothers,
and
it's the greatest.
And it's amazing. And I'm an only child, so these are my brothers. They're the only
Yeah.
brothers I have. And
We love
my
our
sister.
Donatello. He's pretty freaking popular. Yeah.
And you did that. You brought us together. So it's very exciting.
Yeah.
Was there something that you, with that space and then coming back together and doing the circuit and everything again, was there something that you learned about each other as an ensemble now that might have been different?
I'll take this one.
Oh, okay.
If I fall, if I can get on the couch.
I told you it was choreographed.
Yeah.
And this goes even for my social life. I joke that if I run into someone that I haven't seen for a long time and they go, Cam, what have you been up to? I'm like, oh my God, I don't even want to talk to you. If we're going to go, what have you been up to? It means we're not connected. Friends that are tight, if They haven't seen each other for a while. You sit down after years and you go, so anyway, the thing about the thing and the thing and the thing, and you just continue your relationship with, what have you been up to? I had lunch with some junior high friends who share the same birthday. And again, we sat down and didn't go, it's been so long. It was just, yeah, and then when we were in choir, it just flows. So when we sat down,
That was that dinner.
There wasn't an emotional coming together because we had never detached.
Yeah.
So it was wonderful just to sit down and go, yes, and.
Yeah, it was
or,
great.
So anyway,
Yeah,
just pick up. It was picking up where we left off.
it's really quite something.
Actually, even better, because we would go to the studio and we record, and we were all doing different shows. So we, a lot of us would go to the studio, record, and go on to your next thing. And we were together for the recording, but not really
Yeah.
socially.
Yeah.
And this has brought us together as a family. So it's different, and it's even better. It's even better. It doesn't have residuals, but it's even better.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear from the fans, but before we do, a round of applause for this first part of the panel. Thank you. Thank you. These are the easiest panels I've ever had to do. I love it.
Because we don't let you get a word in edgewise.
I love it. I love it. Like, I just like hearing the stories, because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. I like hearing the stories. So, we are going to hear from the fans. We've got Marshall over here. Wave Marshall. Everyone, round of applause for Marshall. He is manning the stage. So everybody, if you have a question, we're doing this slightly different. Please queue up next to Marshall. Please stand up and queue up. Please don't be shy.
Anybody have a question?
Anybody got a question? Yes,
Yeah, if
thank
you
you.
don't, that's fine, too.
Yes,
Don't you guys ever
thank
shut
you.
up? That's the question.
Don't be shy. These guys are amazing and they will
Right.
answer your questions. Please just go
don't mind.
stand up and form a line, please, this way. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I don't know if a lot of these people are taking this as an opportunity to get out of our panel.
Yeah.
Who played Shredder? I can't remember who played Shredder. Was it the dude from
Okay, everybody.
Uh,
If you
for
could,
Prince of
straight
Bel-Air.
into the mic so we can
Uncle
hear
Phil.
you, your name and your question.
Yeah.
My name is
Yeah.
Vernon Thomas, and I was wondering, like, if they were to make
what I was gonna ask
a new movie of the 1987 show, how would you feel about doing it?
Golly, give me a few
I
minutes.
don't care about this show at all. I don't know.
We do it.
In a heartbeat. Listen.
Of course.
Yeah, anytime you get.
In fact, I have an idea for Teenage Mutant Grandpa Turtles.
Yeah.
And we're teaching little tadpoles, or not tadpoles, whatever baby turtles are.
Baby turtles are called baby turtles.
Baby turtles sitting on our knees.
But you did see the Saturday Night Live sketch, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the little cartoon.
Yeah, right.
You know you're part of the culture when SNL lampoons you.
And when the 2012, and also like when the 2012 show did a crossover with the 1987 Turtles, how did it feel to play the Turtles like that you played before?
It was
Fantastic.
The best ever.
And then ask Rob, who got to play too. So,
And talk to himself.
yeah, which is something
Which
we
he
do
already
just because
does
it's
anyway.
Tuesday.
Thank you, my
Thank you very much.
friend.
Thank you very much. You are all awesome.
Thank you, my friend. It's very kind of you. Thank you. Good job.
Hello
Good job.
there. What's your name and question?
Nolan,
Yes.
how you doing,
Rob,
pal?
I love you.
Let's say
Very
Keegan up
thank you.
there.
Yes,
Keegan's
this is
right here
Keegan.
too. My goodness.
So I've got a two-parter for you guys, and Marshall says I can ask it. One of them. I don't want to get him in trouble, but I don't want to get myself in trouble either. So,
You've used up all your question time.
so first one's a funny one. Second one might be a little bit somber, but first one is like, out of all the characters that you played, Rob, Cam, everybody, do you ever have any inner monologue talks with your characters? Like, does Pinky ever talk with Raph about a problem?
Only about mental problems. But fortunately, there's medication that helps Pinky not speak to Raphael so much. What I do, what I think we all do, sometimes people want you to call and leave a message for their 35, 45-year-old buddy who's having a birthday and they live for Ninja Turtles. My son used to challenge me to drive through when there were Animaniacs Happy Meals. Hi, I like 15 Big Macs, 1 with no meat, 2 with only 2 sesame seeds. Now, make it 3 per bun. And 1 Coke with no ice and no Coke. And then you hear, what? And of course, if your kid challenges you, you got to do that. But my son, like all of us, we have so many wonderful relatives, children, cousins, who have all had the incredibly good fortune of growing up with all these folks around them. But to be able to be part of this and help each other out. Hey, Robbie, would you call my son's teacher has 2 kids. Would you call? Sure. Sorry, but you folks often say to us, thank you. Or say to us, I know you hear this all the time, but it's the first time we hear it from you. It doesn't, if any of us, ain't nobody had a gun shoved in their mouth to be an actor, ever. In fact, it often leaves a bad taste in the mouth of your parents or people who love you and don't want you to struggle and all that. So that if you get to the place where you have anything resembling celebrity or success like this, if there's ever a time when somebody says, I know you hear this all the time, yeah, I'm your childhood. Kick his ass out, or hers.
I can respond to yours sideways. I never have done what you're asking, but doing Jim Cummings, his podcast,
Oh yeah.
one of the things that he does is he asks you to do one of his lines as one of your main characters, and he'll feed you the lines. And that was the trippiest thing, to say lines as Pooh Bear, as Liquid Snake or whatever. And then Pooh would say, we gotta think of something fast. Now Pooh never did anything fast, so just hearing a line like, so that was trippy.
Yeah.
But there's so many voices already in my head. Stop it, mother! There's no room for my characters in
So
there.
like when Leo might talk to Flounder, or Flounder might talk to Liquid Snake.
So Nolan, do you mean at home?
No, like in your head. In your
Oh,
head.
just in my head?
Yeah. Like you're
Okay.
laying in bed at night, you're thinking, damn, I had a really good slice of pizza later, and then it's like Donatello, and then somebody else sneaks in, and it's like a conversation in your head.
No.
No. I would expect that from the least favorite turtle book.
No.
But now that weed
No,
is
I
legal
may
in LA,
start
it happens
doing that in
all
a
the
few
time.
years, though.
What's your somber points?
But so
So
far, no.
the second question, I know I'm getting pushed. Seeing as how our beloved master Splinter has passed on, do you all have anything that you can share about him as far as
Oh, yeah.
happy thoughts?
What a gentleman. What an absolute... And you guys, I know, agree. Honestly, getting to know Peter all those years, there was no one who could have been better cast as Master Splinter.
Yes.
Really bright, very gentle. The most mellifluous tone to his voice. Great singer. World-class whistler.
Great, I was going to say the whistler.
Whistler. And he worked for Disney a lot. He told a story about walking these like tunnels under Disneyland in Anaheim. And he was walking there like in the 60s, because he used to be in a lot of the Disney movies, Computer Wore Tennis Shoes and How to Frame a Fish, the Love Bug and all that stuff. And he was walking with a guy and he heard somebody talking. It was Walt Disney coming the other way. What's up? How you doing, son? And hi, mister. Well, have fun. Keep it up. But he just passed away last year, as you know, made it to 89, and absolutely a lovely human being.
Just a sweetheart of a man.
Peter and I met doing a show before the Turtles, doing a Sherlock Holmes whodunit above a bowling alley. So when you're talking about who the killer is, steer right! Woo! Way to go, Sammy! Woo! Woo!
And that was when you say what and give up show business?
Yeah. And that was another result of comics, of doing Comic-Cons, is that, again, I hadn't been in touch with Peter in a long time. Actually, Cam got us back with Peter because of his book. His book is coming out.
Yes.
And we had a photo session, and I saw Peter for
It was
the
wonderful.
first time in years. And then, because we're all together now as a family, a bunch of us were able to see him the year before he died
For his
for his birthday. It was his 88th birthday. He died just before his 89th. And it was his 88th birthday, and we were able to go to dinner, and amazingly, we went to the same place where the four of us first got together to talk about doing cons. And he's so loved. And he's such a wonderful man. And also James Avery, a word for James Avery,
Another one.
who we also lost way too soon, and just a phenomenal man.
I was just going to let you in on a little secret. You know how Splinter was the teacher, right? And he would go, "Hakazuko!" Right? He'd do some kind of a samurai thing.
Yeah.
It was actually Sacagawea.
Yeah. Sacagawea!
He was so smart and so funny, but he would sit there and just kind of take all you guys in, doing all that silly stuff, and he was very clever, so it would be, Sacagawea!
Yeah.
So now you guys have a little secret.
How about
so
that?
Listen for it when you watch the show.
Thank you very much for your question.
Thanks,
Thank
Nolan.
you. Thank you. Hello, what's your name and question, my
Hey
friend?
everybody, my name's Ross, and
Hi, Ross.
thanks again for Cam earlier, appreciate you. First off, just thank you all for coming to my hometown. I cannot believe that all five of you are here.
We can't believe we're still alive.
Hey, kudos to you.
We're happy to be anywhere.
We're not talking to ourselves or our characters.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, you all are the voices of my childhood. I'm sure many other people here too. We're all beyond happy to have you here. We love these stories. I just want to say thank you all so much. Thank you everybody. Thank you, Marshall.
Thank you, buddy.
But one of them, we kind of combined two questions into one, and kind of piggybacks off the first one. But you all started out taking this job, obviously. I mean, Turtles weren't anywhere near as big as they were, at least when you first started. They didn't become huge until later. Did you have any idea that it was going to become this big, that you were going to be that popular? How did you know when you had made it? And then to piggyback on that last little bit, how awesome is it that you're still getting calls? I mean, here 30 years later to do these gigs.
Here's the thing, we are, those of us that are here, are very fortunate to have been a part of, back in the day, a very small pool of people who worked a lot. We auditioned a lot. We got parts a lot. Hence, we're in this inner circle. That's not a brag, that's just how things go. And you learn, you leave the job at the job, because a great script can be a flop, and something you think is really lame can be a hit. So we got the part, and the most I thought was, we have 5 episodes. Okay, that's 5 paychecks. Awesome. That's all the power you really should give to a project until it's behind you and you see what it has become. But if you're working, you're auditioning every day, so it's a little bit of a factory thing. I just want to be honest. It wasn't like, oh, this is going to be great. You've learned that's not knowable.
And we also, they did things a little backwards for our show originally, because normally when you would get a show, it would go to network first, meaning back in those days there were 3 networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC. So your show was on Saturday mornings on one of those shows, and then after several seasons, you would then perhaps get picked up for syndication and do more episodes. Well, for us, it was just the opposite. We went to syndication first. And so my thought was, well, okay, so we're not actually on the network. I guess maybe we're not that big, you know, but who knows? But after a couple of seasons, and then we went to the network and syndication, we started, or at least I started to realize, and of course, simultaneously we saw all these toys coming out. You know, a million different versions of all our toys, and between the toys and the multiple seasons that we had done, 3, 4, 5 at the time, I thought, okay, this thing looks like it's pretty darn popular, and maybe it's got some legs, you know.
When the first movie came out, so I guess in our 3rd season, the first movie came out.
So we of course we had no idea, you know, and we certainly had no idea of this all these years later.
Yeah.
You know, it's just amazing to me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
guys.
Forrest.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Ross.
Thank you, buddy.
How many more questions do we have, Marshall? And then we've got 10 minutes. We can do this. We can do this. 10 minutes.
Of course we can.
Oh, right.
Go ahead.
5. Okay, let's go. What's your name and question?
Right. My name's Stephen Bush. It's a pleasure. My question is the original source material, the comics when they first came out. I was a fan of those before the cartoon came out, and there was a marked difference in tone between the comics and the show.
Yeah.
I was curious if you guys, how aware you were that at the time, or when did you?
Never heard of it.
And how did that affect the creative process when you were putting the show
Well,
together?
Robbie and I were working on a show called Fraggle Rock at the time. That one was a blast also.
Yeah.
But our voice director on that show came into one of our recording sessions one morning and said, "You guys aren't going to believe what I'm going to be casting and directing next." He pulls out a copy of Ninja Turtle comic book out of his briefcase, and I looked at the title, and I'd never heard of it before. And I just rolled my eyes and said, "Yeah, well, good luck with that."
Yeah.
You know. But he brought us into audition.
These shows, we sign stuff every weekend at one of these events. We've never seen it. And it's a remarkable piece of original art based on turtles. So we know that some of the people here working this weekend, Mom got a call and said, Mrs. Gordon, Barry is drawing the Ninja Turtles, but he's not tracing them. He's in 3rd grade, and everything, you know, all the record, everything is perfect. You might want to keep it. And now these guys and girls are working in animation. They're drawing their own art at places like this, all because of turtle circumstance.
I think the big difference was it was a different audience, right? It was a different generation that we were reaching for kids. The fact that it crossed over and the parents started surprising. But Rob is 100% right that every iteration of the Turtles has been different. And each one has brought its own strengths to it. And I think that's what's kept it alive. If we just had the 87 show and everything was like the 87 show, I don't think it would have lasted.
I agree. And every iteration had its own audience, its own generation. It's like every generation that's come along has their own version of Ninja Turtles that they can fall in love with and relate to.
As the tail end of the boomers, when most of us were kids, there was a family around the TV who'd gather for fill-in-the-blank show, whether it was Bonanza or Ed Sullivan or whatever, or the King family. You'd gather. Now, as a boomer child, my parents never watched cartoons with me, nor did my father say, "Sit down, you gotta see these original Bugs Bunny."
Great point.
The amount of people that watch, so it's otherworldly to me, because I don't know from a familial groove on a cartoon. I don't know, I just accept that you guys aren't lying.
How many of you bring your kids or your grandkids?
And the people of you that come up and they go, that you show me your little tyke, he's your grandkid or your kid, and go, I showed him the original, and yeah, Dad and I on, rainy days or every Sunday or whatever, we gather in front of the screen to watch together.
There's actually something called Turtle Tuesday.
What?
Turtle Tuesday. So the child gets to pick the pizza, and the mom or dad get to pick what episodes they're going to watch. And it's called Turtle Tuesday, and it's a bonding experience. And you guys are passing down our show to the other generations, which allows us to keep coming to these.
How did you learn about that?
I made it up.
Excellent.
Yeah. I think Mark and Star over there are kind of going, what a great idea.
So y'all, you're gonna start your ground
half a
zero.
dozen canned
start
cocktails, a couple
Turtle
of pops.
Tuesday.
Thank you. We have 4 minutes. Can we do speed round?
Yes, I won't. It's
Okay, speed round. Name, question.
I was wondering if y'all had any good moments with working with James Avery.
I have one,
Yeah.
or actually more than one. Every time I would come into the studio. So James was what, 6'8"?
big.
Big guy.
Probably 3 1/4. Big
Tall
man.
and big.
Yeah.
And he always was barefoot.
Always.
Right?
And shorts.
Always in barefoot, shorts, and he had this amazing laugh. And every time I would come to the studio, I was always early, and he was there, and I'd walk in, and he would pick me up and laugh, and my little feet were going like this.
Yeah.
And
And then he would say, I'd like to thank the Academy.
yeah, it was his Oscar.
No,
But he was he was so kind
Yeah.
and so sweet. And then, okay, there wasn't the internet back then. Oy, oy, oy. But we learned that James was a Shakespearean actor. He was an amazing
Huge
man,
background.
very involved in the civil rights movement, a real giant, and not just in terms of tall, but in terms of his persona and his character. He was
And he-
wonderful.
We'll leave it at that. We all loved him. He was fantastic.
He was a great guy.
Thank you for your question. Hello, love. Name and question.
Hi, my name is Jessie, and I know this is a running joke for the panel, but where did it start with the Donatello being the least favorite turtle? So as a kid, I loved all the turtles and all the turtles.
From the very beginning, he was the least turtle.
Thank you.
Reach on my chair at the recording studio. Least favorite turtle.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello.
Hi, my name is Kevin. Rob, this is a question for you. As your character is Yakko, the Yakko's world gimmick, were you natural fast talker, or did you have to do multiple takes when you had to name the nations of the world?
No, I will tell you, no multiple takes. There
One
was
take.
one.
Well, yeah, but thank you. I talk really fast. I'm good at my job, we all are, but we live in Hollywood. You can throw a dart and hit a great singer. What you can't do is find somebody to write that stuff. And people have said it's the truth. Many of you are actors. If it ain't on the page, it ain't on the stage. It's that simple. Randy Rogel, as a bit of quick background information, that was the first song that was written for Animaniacs and the first song I recorded. So the bar was set really high. But what people don't know is that song, Randy Rogel, who wrote that song, wrote it as his audition piece to get the job writing music for Animaniacs. So he walked in and said, what do you think about this? Are you kidding me? And that song, that little 2.5-minute cartoon has become a seminal piece of American animated art. You don't need, it's like the Turtles. You don't really need to know the franchise to go to, oh, that's interesting. You don't even need to know the language. All you see is this little critter with a mortarboard naming pretty much every sovereign nation. And then it rolls up the map and he's gone. It's a remarkable piece. But that really speaks, I know we're running out of time, but that speaks to the level of talent that you just don't know. And then you meet these people who blow you away with their gifts. And now Randy's putting up his own musical and he's 70. He's busier now than he's ever been. So thank you very much. And you have excellent talent.
Thank you.
I'm taking a water towel.
We're now at time, but if
All
we
right.
can get through them really fast, because there's only
Yeah,
a few
I'm sorry.
people.
This is last,
Casey
right?
Jones is a goalie today.
Hello, love. Name and question.
Hello, my name is Noah, and I think we all know that everybody has a favorite turtle. But who are your guys' favorite turtles? Is it the ones that you voice, or is it maybe someone else?
I like Crush. Is that what his name is?
Nice.
Nice. Yeah. The turtle from Lilo and Stitch. Is that? Yeah, I absolutely love that turtle.
Nemo.
Finding Nemo. Yeah, I love. Well, look. Truthfully, in my experience, Mikey seems to be the perennial favorite turtle, and it's understandable why. He's just party dude. Times when he says cowabunga, you all hear it. Anytime you're in one of these events, you hear somebody say Mr. Processo, can you please say Cowabunga? Cowabunga! And as all of you look around and you see those two, oh my God.
And as you know, I was supposed to be my
But thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. We have one more? We made it.
Hello, my love.
Hi.
I'm Scarlett, and so you guys came like to Roanoke, right? And I was like really surprised when I saw it, because like, you know, like the whole gang came all the way to like Roanoke, like 20 minutes away. So like, why did you guys decide to come to Big Lip Comic Con, and will you guys ever be back?
Because you're here.
Because you invited us. Yeah. Thank your con and thank JD. The people who run the con.
JD, everybody here.
They ask for us. You know, we go where we are called. And we love that so many you know, and I'll have fans who write me going, come to Roanoke. And I go, well, talk to your con runners. Yeah. We're grateful to be called wherever we are, but we don't have anything to do with choosing of where the shows.
But yes, we would come back in a heartbeat.
In fact, we did Big Lick up in Chantilly last year and had such a great time and got along so well with the folks there that they asked us back. So we are back, actually.
Yeah,
now, yes, we would come back again.
But it is an absolute privilege to do this, for which we've all worked very hard. And no one in a million years knows at the start of their journey to Hollywood that at a significantly ripe old age, that you're still going to be relevant, and relevant to people of 2 to 3 generations. Charlotte, this is a profound gift to us, and we know it. And you guys are the reason.
And yet we don't get fat heads because we look at you guys and we look at our lines. And speaking for myself, I see this in your shiny faces and the lines out the door, and I go, I don't get it. What are all these people doing? So we are always like agog at our continued appeal. So as he says, we're very aware of you and of it. So there isn't really room for ego.
No.
It's nothing. We're getting a second chance. I knew we were going to be in the book of animation life, that, you know, we'd be in there as the original, but that's where I thought it would end, that hey, look in the book, I'm there.
Yeah, I mean, it really, and I think I can speak for all of us, it's nothing but gratitude.
Totally.
For all of us. We look in your faces and just think, oh, thank you guys. Thank you for being you. Thank you for sharing your lives with us. It's one of the most important things for me at these cons is to hear your stories, to look in your faces, to look in your eyes, and I want to know you, and I want to know where you come from and why you liked this show. It means something to us.
Thanks, Scarlett.
Thank you, Charlotte.
It's Scarlett.
Scarlett, I'm sorry.
Before we wrap up,
my name is
let's
Brett Butler.
let's have a round of applause before we wrap up for the fans first. Applause for the fan question. Now,
Thank you all.
I'm going to say something, and then we're going to do it. We're going to do the thing. I would just like to say it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you all and get to know you all through these panels. I wanted to be April O'Neil so badly. I've got a yellow jumpsuit now, by the way. I will wear it next time.
Me too.
I got to do San Diego Comic Con panel about the new Turtles thing, and I was like beside myself, and it's all because it started with the love of this. So I'd like to say thank you very much.
Thank you. Pleasure.
A round of applause for these guys.
And before, so we're all going to do something, but before we do, let me just say, Cowabunga! And now if we can get everybody to join us in a turtle power.
You ready?
3, 1, 2, 1. We were never very good with math.
Thank you very much, you guys. Really. Pleasure.
Thank you guys so much.
Guys, give a